Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about how your clients don't need to be technical. All right, so I've spoken about this many times before, but we do a lot of work with clients. So we'll get a call from a company, they want an app developed, we'll sit down and we'll have an initial meeting with them and we'll discuss the requirements and decide whether or not we could work together. And sometimes we'll do work for individuals too, but most of the time we try to just do B2B, just do company stuff, but it depends on the client really. It depends on how excited I am about the app itself. Right, but there's two things that prospects always say on that initial conversation that we have, and I think it's so funny how consistent it is. I wanted to talk to you guys about it, see if you guys get these questions too if you do client work. The first thing they'll say is we don't have much of a budget, right? I hear this like every time. It's almost like clockwork, like I could gauge how the meeting is progressing based on when they say that. They say we don't have much of a budget. And the funny thing is, sometimes their budget is much higher than I thought it would. They don't know the expectation, so it's relative. So I've had people who come and they expect an app will cost like $100,000 or something. So they come in to say they don't have much of a budget and their budget is like, 10 or 20. And I've got others who come in who say their budget is about 1,000 and they don't, it's relative. Nobody really knows. So I don't really take that into consideration. But the other thing they say a lot, and this was funny, they'll say, I'm not very technical. And the thing that makes me laugh about that is like, that's the reason you're here. That's the reason you're talking to me. That's what I bring to the table. We're the technical people and you know about your business, right? It's funny because when you work, the ideal project is we'll get a company that we work with. They have a really cool way of working, or the real cool product, or something really cool they want to do, and we bring the technical side, and it's that initial discussion where we decide what we can do with it. Can we communicate with it via Bluetooth? Can we use web services? Can we use the dialogue flow? What can we do? Can we use voice command? That kind of stuff. And it's that initial meeting where we hash things out. That's probably the most fun about all of it. But just like they don't know about technology, most of the time I don't know about their business either. When I was working in an investment bank, one of the big projects I worked on was a commodity futures application. So it's commodities trading, so trading gas and oil. And it was really, really cool because I knew nothing about trading, although I got so many jobs after that because people say, oh, you have experience as a trading system software developer. But at some point, everything to me was just code. It was just rules. It was like a flow chart of this type of trade comes in, we flip it, this is a buy, this is a sell, this is this type of gas, this is this kind of stuff. It was like an automated system, right? But before I got that project, I knew nothing about it, and I kind of had to learn enough to do the coding, but not enough to be a practitioner of that system. And it was just a perfect merge of these guys who said they weren't technical, that the stock floor traders, who to me, it was like, I don't know how they could remember all the things that they had in their minds. And me, the guy who could know how the code worked, and they couldn't figure out how I could figure out how all that code worked. So it's funny to hear that all the time. The one thing I hear from clients all the time, aside from our budget is small, is I'm not technical. And they say it apologetically as if it even needed to be said, right? My assumption is always that they're not technical to begin with, but it's cool. I love being a software developer. It's where you bring people in, you get to learn all different types of industries and work on all different kinds of stuff. And you got great minds in other industries. And hopefully you can contribute in a technical way to streamline processes that they've been doing manually for years. So just some thoughts for today. We don't expect anybody to be technical. And if you work with clients, expect to hear that too. So anyway, that is it for today. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.